before, that whole ending, the transformation, they made me cut. So I wanted people to see it because I thought it was funny. But I guess they thought that maybe Joe Dante wouldn't think it was funny. I don't know. Then I'm pointing out how incredibly long his transformation scene is. You didn't think about it the whole time. Dee Wallace is sitting there going, and that was real time. That was real time. You're hearing the audio of the transformation happening every time you're seeing me do something, leaving, brushing my teeth. It's that long. It's ridiculous. I love the movie to death. That scene's classic, but I had to goof on it a little bit because it takes forever. But anywho, it's been a real blessing getting to work with Shout Factory, Scream Factory, and these guys have been awesome letting me do all this stuff. And when I first started working with them, they didn't know what they were getting into, and I did the Halloween 2 and 3 episodes back to back. I turned them in, and they panicked. They honestly panicked. It was like, oh, what? This ain't what we thought we were getting. And I'm like, what did you think you were getting? They were really conservative at that point, made me cut a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know if any of you were here for when I screened the uncut Halloween 2 and 3 last year. But yeah, they made me cut a bunch of stuff, and I think they thought at that point they were done with me. Like, okay, yeah, thank you, that was great, you know. But then the fan reaction and the critics all seemed to really dig it, and suddenly they were like, yeah, all right, yeah, we like you now. So anyway, so they've been letting me do a lot of stuff, and hopefully we got some new shit coming out. Basically, I've kind of got an open book of what I want to do for any of the releases they have, if the budget allows. Like a small release, like for example, I really wanted to do The Beast Within that they got coming out because I like that movie a lot. But a small title like that they're not counting on selling very many of, they don't put too much money into, and they're like, we're just kind of putting it out, you know. So unfortunately, couldn't do that. But Dark Man is one I'm hoping to do that's coming up. I don't know if you Dark Man fans, one guy. I'm sure me and Liam Neeson will just be running around town together if he calls me back. We'll see. But I want to do that one. I was very disappointed I didn't get to do Day of the Dead because that was kind of a bucket list one for me. I've never been to those locations, even on the huge locations there. I've never been there. So I was really hoping to do that one, and ran out of time. I'm kind of a busy guy, travel a lot, so couldn't work it into my schedule, so I missed the deadline.
I got a question.
Oh shit, yeah, Mr. Kruger? What can I do for you?
Nightmare 2 episode!
Has anybody got any real questions? Bro. I don't know, okay, first off, I don't know how you got, like, next to my table out there. That's number one. Number two, how you somehow got the Ginger Snaps girl to cancel so you could put your Q&A right before mine. I don't know how you did that. But, you know.
The restraining order doesn't apply in Indiana. It's only in California, and we're in the Midwest, so what's up, sucker?
Well, actually, I guess
Who wants to see a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 Horror Hallowed Grounds? For me, the fans have spoken, bitch!
I think you have a photo op coming up or something. You may want to go to that.
The hell with Robert Rusler, I'm Robert Rusler. By the way, photo op at 4:50 with Robert Rusler and Mark Patrick and Robert Rusler. So if this isn't over, just get the hell out and go to the photo op.
Swear to God, dude, the guy plugs his fucking movie in my episode. Now he's plugging his photo op.
Oh, sorry.
You're like P.T. Barnum out here, bro.
RockAsylumMovie.com. Did I say that loud enough?
No.
One more time.
blackasilentmovie.com. blackasilentmovie.com, blackasilentmovie.com,
Hey, dude, don't you have a movie that Downey Jr. won't put you in to go do or something?
Hey, why are you guys laughing? I've been in like 4 of his movies. Yay! It's a very, private website, but you can get to it if you really look. It's called We Slept in That Child's Bed and We Don't Give a Fuck. I just say Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Horror's Hallowed Grounds. That's all I got to say. Sean Clark will be nothing until he looks it up.
You know you've made it big when the stars of the films are, stalking you to get them to do your or it's that sad. Oh no. So anywho, let's just get that out of the way. Elm Street 2. I don't know who wants to see that. Yes, you sir.
On the opening of the reel there, in the introduction, it looks like there's footage from Danvers State from Session 9. Are you ever going to be able to release your footage of Danvers State when you went in there?
Well, obviously I can't do an episode now, really, because they tore it down. But, I could put an episode together based on the footage that I shot when I allegedly broke in there twice. It's gone now, what can they do? It'd be fun to do that. Session 9 is I'm a huge fan of that film. I think it's a very underrated film, and I can't believe it's not out on Blu-ray. It was one of the first films shot in HD, so it looked amazing on Blu-ray. If I hear who's putting it out, I would definitely stalk them Rusler style to get on that disc. I've got quite a bit of footage, so I'd love to piece something together. Just me running around this old abandoned hospital acting like a geek, basically. Yes, sir?
Yes, Saw Spring Factory just announced Night of the Demons. Are you going to do it?
Well, it really isn't a whole lot of locations. It's like one place, pretty much. I talked to them about that. I was like, I actually told Jeff at Scream Factory, wouldn't it be funny if we did a whole, set it up like an episode, have the intro, the whole thing, like this is Sean Clark, I'm at the house from Night of the Demons, welcome to Horror's Hallmark. Do the intro, and then I go, this is the house. Thank you, good night. And this that's it, because I think the interiors were all set. So it'd be exterior and done. And the Witchboard is another one. I'd maybe like to do that one. I don't know if time permits. I'm down for it. As long as I'm a fan of the film. I don't want to do stuff I'm not a fan of. I don't want it to be some crap over here. I want it to be, I like to be a geek and get there and get excited and run around like a dumbass. And, I do everything totally spontaneous. I don't script anything. I just get there and we film. And I'll give you a perfect example of how spontaneous shit is. When we did the Howling, the campground, we got to the entrance of the campsite. Now, mind you, getting to the entrance of the campsite is a hell of a drive, just to get to the entrance. And then once you get in, it's I think it's like a 15-mile drive from the entrance through little tiny dirt roads. And we had no idea. I'd never been there before. We had a flight we had to catch that night, I think we had 6 hours, and we had a 3-hour drive to get to the airport from where we were. And there was a big no trespassing sign with a chain crossing the road and all this shit. And we got there, and Buzz, my camera guy, his dad was with us, because his dad's a pilot, and he lives up north. And a lot of the shots you saw, aerial shots, like if you guys own the Fog episode, there's some really cool aerial shots of the roads and heading towards the lighthouse. His dad shot those with a GoPro on the bottom of his plane. And anyway, he was with us. And we told him, hey man, we're going to do this thing at the campground. You sure you want to come? Because we get into some shit, and legal shit, And he's like, oh, no. So we get there, and the thing's closed. There's a house right by the entrance, and there's fire, smoke coming out of the chimney. Somebody's in there. and it's obviously the caretaker of the camp. The camp's closed. I get there, I'm getting out, I'm like, fuck, dude, we need this footage. If we don't get the cabins, we don't have an episode. I mean, they're crucial. I can't just say, oh, we couldn't get in, next time. So I just said, fuck it, and I bonsai'd it, man. I put the chain out and took off, and his dad was like, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, you knew what you signed up for, bro. You should shut up, And Buzz is like, yeah, I told you, And we went down this road, and we passed a truck. There was a truck coming the other way, who obviously worked at the camp. He was towing some urinals, or not urinals, porta potties. And he looked at us, and I just kind of went like that and kept going, and he didn't say nothing like, oh, he's gonna call the cops, oh shit, he's gonna call the cops. We found the camp, which another thing was like, we had to find it, we didn't know where it was. We got there, I immediately recognized which cabin it was, and I had went to a Sears right there that morning and bought a crowbar. Like one about this big, just in case. Because I ain't going all that way and not getting in. Fortunately, they were unlocked. The cabins were all unlocked, and I didn't need to use the crowbar. Funniest part to that story, on the way back, our car broke down. It was my dad's car, who lives up north. He let me borrow it. It broke down, burned the transmission out. We missed our flight. We ended up getting stuck in some shitty little town overnight. But when we had to reschedule our flight, then once we did get to the airport, we had all checked. We didn't check our bags. We carried them on. I'm putting them through the thing and going through security. And excuse me, sir, you came over here for a moment. Is this your bag? I'm like, yeah. What the? It's this crowbar yours? I completely forgot I had it because I didn't use it. I just $12 crowbar. I wasn't going to take it back, whatever. So I said, you can keep that. Yes.
I noticed you tend to do more classic horror movies, which is really awesome. I wondered if you would ever consider doing more modern ones like VHS or,
I get asked that a lot. I mean, the thing about my little show is looking back, like how things have changed, and you do something that was made last year, it's kind of like looks the same, and there's not a whole lot of nostalgia. I mean, my whole thing is it's a big nostalgia piece. I look at these locations kind of like I look at a childhood home or an elementary school I went to, and I get there and I feel nostalgic. I feel like, man, I used to go here, because in a way we connect with those locations because we grew up with those movies. So when you see them, you feel like you've been there, even if you haven't been there. You get this connection to the location that's kind of hard to explain. But yeah, so I just don't think it would work if there were new things. Although, I've been tempted. I've had like offers to come on sets while they're filming, and it would be different, but I just think it would lose sort of the charm of what I do, And people said, hey, your movie, Black Waters, you should do one on your movie. You know where it was filmed. Yeah, I do, but... And it's funny, I actually took a couple friends that are here to the location. They said, hey, take us to, it's right around here, right? I'm like, yeah. So I went to this one neighborhood where we had shot some stuff. I never knew at the time, because I didn't have anything to do with scouting locations, that it was a private community. And we got there, and we got out, and we started walking around. I said, hey, right over here, this is where, and this person comes up, can I help you? Can I help you? I'm like, oh, I shot a movie here a couple years ago. Yeah, big budget, you might remember it. Yeah, we shot over it. Yeah, do you have a permit to be here? I mean, do you have, what are you talking about? This is a private community. Like, yeah, I shot a movie here. Yeah, remember yeah. So, they kicked us out. I didn't even get to show them hardly anything except for one little spot, and they basically said, go away, tattoo person. So anyway, I didn't even have any luck with my own movie, but I wouldn't do an episode of my own movie. It's kind of goofy. But yes.
Is there a place like you went and you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe I finally got here. See where this is.
She's asking if there's a place I went to or I was like, I just couldn't believe I was there, and like, oh my God moment. Definitely when I went to England and did the Clockwork Orange locations, there was a couple of those that I was just like, fuck yes. I'm at the tunnel where they beat up the old man in the beginning of the movie. I'm just sitting there going, no! We're walking down, and then like the flat block marina part, when they're walking, by the water, and he turns on him and, kicks him into the water and all that shit. I mean, I was just geeking out hard. I mean, because I love that movie. It's my favorite movie of all time, so I was nerding out pretty hard on that one. But the Session 9 one, Danvers, was the coolest location I've ever been to, because it was just genuinely creepy. And freaky on a level of safety issues. Like, for example, there was times you would, like the 6th floor of the hospital, and you look into one of the patient rooms, and it's collapsed like 6 stories down. And at one point, I was walking around, and I fell through the floor up to my thigh. It was genuinely dangerous. Like, oh fuck, I could die in this place, and nobody would know, And all the windows were boarded, so if you have a flashlight, you turned it off, you couldn't see your hand in front of your face. It was pitch black. So it was freaky. It was definitely freaky, but that adrenaline rush, man, I could not recreate ever. It was just like the whole time, so, yeah.
I've done a lot of location hunting myself, and there's a certain rush when you find something that's really difficult. What do you think is your greatest, achievement or feeling of, yes, I found where the, something that was really difficult, or like a lot of maybe something that never find it, but actually did?
Well, I get a lot of that now. I used to get a lot of that early on, because when I started doing this, I'm kind of old. It was before the internet. So I was literally going through map books and trying to find where places were, and you can't, like nowadays, it's easy. I mean, it's not easy, but it's so much easier. Like Google Earth, like, oh, I heard it's over here. Let me Google Earth that. I'm gonna drive over there. Your street view. Oh, there it is. That's easy. So, but as far as stuff, I think the biggest rush was the first thing I found. And that was, the very first thing I found was the hardware store from Halloween. And I was the first guy to do this back then. Nowadays you can look up any fucking Halloween location. And I had no idea what any of them were. And I remember I was driving down the street with my buddy, and it was that exact point of view shot where Lori and Annie are driving up in the station wagon. There's sort of like a monument in the middle there, and they see the hardware store, and it's, oh my dad, that whole thing. We're driving, looking around, I just look, and we both went like that, like we froze, like, we're like, that's fucking hardware store, dude, that's fucking hardware store. We're like jumping out, like, oh shit, we jumped out, and we had no idea the Myers house had been moved, which is literally across the street. And we're like, we're just like, holy shit. We're just geeking out so hard, man. I mean, it was like, that was the moment. And that's when I was hooked. From that point on, I'm like, dude, we can do this, we can go to these places, And then it's all been downhill from there. Yes, sir.
Besides days, what's some of the ones you would like to do?
That I would like to do, that haven't been announced or anything? Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that I've done articles on in the magazine in HorrorHound that I haven't done video versions of. Phantasm would be cool. Little story. Little bitter story. Contacted Don Coscarelli once when I was doing the Phantasm article for HorrorHound, because I couldn't find the fortune teller's house. Had his email, Reggie Bannister gave it to me, a good friend of mine. Reggie said, Don knows where everything is, he'll tell you where it is. Really? Okay, email him. This is what I do.